First of all, everyone, thank you so much for joining the session. I would request everyone to keep themselves on the mute. And if in case, you would have any queries down the line, and, when I'll be done with the presentation, I think then it would be a great time where I can take those queries right after the sort of presentation. So can I have everyone muting? Thank you so much, guys. All right. Again, thanks to Sumit Rastogi ji. He has been, uh, old friend of mine, and I have been associated with him and worked with him for many years, and I know he's a great person, and thank you so much, sir, for calling me and interacting with the students, and this gives me a chance to even talk about how this edtech industry is growing and how we are able also to build a new product altogether. So straight away getting on to the agenda, like Sumit sir has already talked about, that I'll be speaking on how to validate your startup idea, and I have a presentation also prepared on the same. So I'll just share that with you guys. Sumit sir, can you just confirm if you are able to view my? Perfect, 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 perfect. All right. All right. All right. So okay. So guys, first of all, see, being an entrepreneur, I think it's really difficult. I mean, the whole journey, and the step of taking that, the step of getting into this whole domain of starting a business is very difficult. But there has been some of the hacks wherein a person still can use those hacks. By hacks, I mean those validation strategies, right, that I'll be sharing in this session. So there are certain strategies, there are certain things a entrepreneur or a businessman per se, in a layman's language, can do, so that he's really assured that whatever he's doing, whatever path he's taking, whatever idea he has in mind, is really worth going for. Obviously, you being, I got intimated that you guys are BBA MBA students, and at that stage of life, obviously many of you must have been thinking, why can't I just start my own startup? Because startup is a new buzzword happening, right, since 2015, when Narendra Modi started this Startup India initiative. And since then, I think it's been 5 years now, startup is a big buzzword. Nowadays, we keep on seeing this, venture has acquired this venture, Bajus, everybody aware of, they are acquiring every every other startup, every other edtech company these days. So that's why you guys must be thinking, why can't I be just start my own business and create a startup of my own? Because that's another career opportunity for you guys. Just running about the placement is definitely there, and obviously people have those thoughts that, let me just get into a stability, get into a stable job, and have a decent salary being earned. But again, I mean, that's one perspective to look at it. But from your perspective, I'll say, this is another career opportunity that any one of you can actually go for, very honestly. So let me just tell you, like, why this validation. So validation, as a very literal meaning, you everyone understands, validation mean getting some assurance whether the things are right or not, right or not, right? So even an entrepreneur, when the things get starts off, right, obviously it gets starts off from an idea, right? You always have an idea. Okay, let me just start a restaurant, right? That's an idea. Let me just start a cab company, right? Let me have 5 cabs and some drivers, and those are the basic ideas, very old ideas. But nowadays, a lot of innovation is happening. Everyone is aware of the the biggies, like Zomato. Everyone knows Ola. Everyone knows Taco, right? Byju's. So everything is digitized, everything is innovated, and you can't just even think of those old school ideas. But yeah, you start your mind running into a direction wherein you are sort of innovating in your idea, right? But when you talk of a innovative idea, very honestly, I'll tell you that innovative idea comes with a risk. Obviously, this idea may work or may not work. Opening a restaurant, like I took an example, mean, it's a stable, a not so risky kind of an idea. Okay, food business, it every time works, most of the time works, but obviously there are failures also. Even there are many restaurants, but still, it's an idea which is validated, right? Restaurant kholna hai, I know it. It's a validated idea. But nowadays, when we talk of an entrepreneurship journey, coming up with an innovative idea, that innovative idea carries a lot of risk. And there comes, validating your idea first, because it doesn't make sense to straight away, hire people for your company, straight away spending so much on your vendors and building the whole website, whole product or a service. Doesn't make sense till the time you're really sure that this idea gonna work in the market. That's why you can see a quote, on the slide, that Paul Graham, co-founder of Y Combinator. Y Combinator is a US-based, one of the biggest accelerator. Right, everyone wants to get associated with Y Combinator in the very initial stage. But that guy quoted, "Why do so many founders build things no one wants?" Because when the idea comes into your mind, it is your idea, right? And I mean, you are assured that this will work. But what about the millions and billions of people outside? I mean, you really don't know whether they really want this kind of a product that you're thinking of or not, right? So that's why, you must have got a gyan with so many people that, more than 80% of the, startup, they get failed and all those things. And that's how it happens. There are so many reasons. And one major reason is that, the entrepreneurs don't validate their idea at the initial stage. If you are doing it, you are validating it, I think you still have some better chances, I would say. I mean, there's no, again, 100% guarantee of everything in life. Similarly goes here. But again, you still want to reduce down your risk. We all know the risk and return trade off, right? So that's how it works here also. So, any startup idea conceptualized by your pain point or a need gap analysis may not be scalable or workable. Let me just, talk about, how the idea emerges. So, there are basically two ways with which, idea can come out, right? I mean, it can be a personal pain point also. I'll take an example here. So, Ola Cabs, Bhavesh Agarwal, right? So, Ola Cabs was not Ola Cabs, it was Ola Trips, right? And Bhavesh Agarwal once wanted to book a weekend trip, right? So that's how he thought of having a complete company, because he was not finding a great company who can have him book a weekend trip, and have a cab services for it, right? That's why he created Ola Trips, right? So that personal pain point pushes an entrepreneur to really build a business around it, right? That's a personal pain point. And when I talk about need gap analysis, I'll take another example here of MobiQuick. Everyone knows it's a mobile wallet. So, Bipin Preet Singh is a, co-founder of it. And, he understood the market. Earlier what used to happen in, recharging market was people used to go to the shop, buy a recharge card, scratch it, those 16 digit number, SMS it or call it. I mean, such a pathetic process. And he thought, why there is some gap in the market, why so many things. It's a problem for any user to just even recharge for rupees 10 also. Why he needs to do so many things? So that's why he came up with a MobiQuick. So MobiQuick was earlier started as online recharge company. So that's how these ideas came up. And now you can see MobiQuick, Ola being one of the big shot startups in India. And now I'll honestly tell, they are not anymore startups, they are like big companies now with the level of funding they have raised and all. So having said that, any idea coming in through pain point, or you do the need gap analysis like what we study in MBA. You get an idea, but you have to be assured that whether this idea is workable in the market, or is it really scalable or not. So there, the validation is needed. And obviously the validation is needed just to save your time, costs and efforts, and reduce your money. So that's how you understand that, like, what is the importance of the validation for an entrepreneur when he has a initial level of idea in his mind. So I'll just talk about 7 points very honestly. So there are 7 hacks wherein you can actually, if you have an idea, just implement it. If you really have an idea, just implement it. It doesn't cost you much, or some of them really doesn't cost you at all, right? And you will be getting the complete idea as to whether this my entrepreneur idea, startup idea, is really good enough or not. And you'll either go ahead, or you'll stop there and then, right? So the first thing is looking for the potential competitor, right? So suppose I have an idea really I have to see whether there are competitors in that industry or not. So the question that you need to answer is there anyone else in the same business or not? If the answer is no, very honestly, if somebody says yaar ye to koi kaam kar hi nahi raha hai, there's nobody as a company or as an entrepreneur working in this industry, I think you there need to rethink why there's no one doing it, right? So that gives you an indication you should not be even going for it. Maybe that's an idea, but again, it's not a right or wrong answer. But you still have those apprehension coming in why nobody is getting into it, because now if you see the market industries, every industry is mostly crowded, and whatever innovation is happening, it's happening on a one or two basic level, right? Like Zomato, restaurant business was already there, but they just revolutionize how the distribution will happen, how the aggregation will happen, how the seamless booking will happen, all those things. So that's how the innovation is happening, right? But if in case the answer is yes, there are people working in this industry, then you have to find out a way how can you be better than them. Again, having a same idea or having a same offering is just for getting a small pie from the whole bucket, right? That is what we say. So getting into the same line of business is really not entrepreneurship nowadays. You have to come up with something out of the box, right? Here to support this, I'll take a case of Make My Trip. In 2003, when they were starting off, so Make My Trip's prime competitor, was IRCTC, very honestly, because they were into online booking, of trains, right? And those guys, the IRCTC was the pioneer in getting people used to book everything online, the trains, right? Because earlier, even people had a lot of apprehension. I mean, in 2003, we are talking about who will book on Make My Trip and booking a flight or a hotel, right? But they validated that there is IRCTC who's making everyone aware of online booking, because they made it mandatory, right? They wanted to push people to book it through online, not from their reservation center. So that's how they got a validation. Although it was an indirect competitor, now it is a direct competitor also, because the train booking can also happen from this portal. But yeah, that is how things work. You have to take out cues from the industry itself, whether the things are working or not, whether the online booking is really working or not. And it was actually working through IRCTC. That's why Make My Trip got a validation ki ha yaar, there are companies, there is IRCTC who's getting people book the trains online, right? So that's how this validation helps a lot. Now, another point that I would focus on is the looking for initial set of customers, right? So whenever you have an idea, obviously it is catering to some target group, TG, that we call in marketing, right? So you have to, TG is again a very big word, right? TG can be ranging from a particular persona to that persona, right? If it is a edtech company, they might be focusing on K-12 students, they might be focusing on a higher education students, right? But when you talk of initial set of customers, you have to look into the real persona of the person who will be actually buying your services. I'll explain better here. So the second question that you need to answer is, will anyone be buying what I'm offering? So is this idea, whatever service or product it is all about, will anyone be buying it, right? So if you really have a doubt, because it's an innovative product, whether this innovative offering will be bought by anyone or not. So you have to first of all identify the initial set of customers. So let me talk about Ola. So when they pivoted from Ola trips to Ola cabs, so obviously they had a person's picture in their mind, talking about their founders. There is a guy who, so persona is like that. There is a guy who goes to a office daily from 9 to 5, and he doesn't have his own car, and he obviously is an aspiring customer. Aspiring, by aspiring mean he wants to travel through cars and all, and he can afford booking a car for daily commuting, right? So that's why there is a urban working professional as a persona coming in the founder's mind as a initial set of customers now, who's really having a problem finding and hailing a cab, because earlier cab booking used to happen through a nearby local cabbies, right? So that was really not a solution for anyone booking a cab on a daily basis, right? So that's how we have a case of Ola, wherein they are now again so big. So finding that initial set of customer, the persona of it, the urban customer looking for the cab hailing services, who's going to the office, is somewhere I'm defining the initial set of customers. And like these, young professionals, there would be thousands of people, right? Lakhs of people. Guys, hello. Can I have everyone muting? Can I have everyone muting, guys? A lot of disturbance. Hello. Hello. Yeah, thank you so much. So, guys, please be on mute, because again, to have a better experience, you'll need to mute. Otherwise, I think it will be difficult for me to carry on. Yeah, thank you. Hello. Yeah. So let me proceed. So the third, validation strategy, you may call as, is you're discussing your idea. I mean, it's always good to share your idea with hundreds of people outside. Very honestly, people do feel that their idea might get stole. Somebody will steal their idea, somebody will copy their idea. I think that's not needed. That kind of a thinking is really not needed, because if you discuss your idea with 10 more people, you get a real insight as to whether this idea is workable or not. Because 10 different people will at least give you an indication. If those 10 people tell you that this is pathetic, don't go ahead, it means somewhere you got the validation. No, yeah, I think 10 people are saying, it means it is really not gonna work in the market. But if in case you're getting a better get better insight to it, and you might get a refinement option, right? Because people will tell you not to do this, to do that, right? So this will actually refine your idea if you discuss your idea with others. And very honestly, whenever you are discussing your idea, pick a group of people who are experts, who can really guide you in the whole journey. So after this sharing of the these 7 strategies, I like uh, definitely talk about GrabGuidance and how we also did the validation part. And I'll be talking about from a very ground level, that how we did it for this kind of a venture, so that you really get an idea. So although I'm supporting the ideas with a lot of cases here, but again, I'll take up a complete case on GrabGuidance as well, so that you really understand how we really move forward. And in case you are planning to do so, you will obviously feel quite relaxed, and not to have any problems, right? So like I mentioned, never worry about stealing, because it's all about refining your idea. It's all about getting a different perspective and expert view, because you might not have a different thought process, but others might have it, right? And I'll take an example here, like your story now everybody would be knowing. It's a kind of a online company, a content company for publishing these startup stories and journeys. So Shraddha Sharma was the founder then, and she used to always believe that if in case you're still sharing, right, the idea, and if somebody has an intent also to copy it, right, but still the idea that emerged from your mind, the passion you already had towards that idea, the execution plan you already have it for that idea, will definitely not be there with anyone. They can just know that you are sort of getting into it, but how you will be getting into it is somewhere you are not sharing, right? So again, the passion that you have, the execution plan that you have, will can never be stole, right? So that's how sharing of ideas seriously is a myth, that it will be not so good strategy for anyone to share the idea. But and on the top of it, if you really think that you are the only one having this idea, I think again you being naive there, because honestly we are a country with billions of people, and the idea that you are thinking might have been thought by tons of people outside, right? It's just that who will go first in the market, or who will really have that passion to go in the market. That's why keep discussing your idea, you will get a great validation, right? Now analyzing the market potential. So obviously any idea catering to a small market is actually not a business idea. Very honestly, nobody as an investor also will be interested, because if it is for small number of people, again, it will not give you a very high level of revenue and a growth, right? So there you have to at least size on a very broad, basic level, the extent of the market which you are really wanting to enter. So again, I'll take an example here of timesavers.com. So timesavers is exactly a similar company like Urban Clap. I think Urban Clap is pretty known in Delhi also, Delhi NCR. So now it is Urban Company. So they are also into the home services, online booking of own home services. So this time savers, it got started somewhere in 2013, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 2013. Right. So they also sort of did the market sizing, like what would be the market that our idea is catering to. So they figured out in 2013, there were like 20 million online shoppers, because they are online booking company, right? So they have to talk about the online numbers on people, transacting online. So there were 20 million online shoppers, and they figured out with the research that, out of that, somewhere 60% of the people are from the metros, because again, in 2013, it was the idea, not prevalent in tier 1, also tier 2, tier 3 cities. So it was a metro kind of a concept in 2013, and they figured out that 60% of the market is, actually living in metro. And so that came out to be 12 million people who can be possible user, right? That's how they work out. And out of that, they figured out, oh, okay, one fourth of the people are actually urban, urban people, right? Urban, and are actually savvy also. So again, the tech savviness was a parameter they were evaluating. So tech savvy people was like one fourth of it again. So they came to a figure like 3 million people would be the actual users who gonna use the time savers application. And they also figured out like approximately 20,000 rupees on a annum basis in a per year, a household actually spends, on these home core activities like plumbing, electrician, or cleaning, and all those things. So they came out with a figure like this idea is actually catering to 20,000 into 3 million, which comes out to be 60 billion rupees, right? That's how this is a top down kind of an approach. These are the people, this is what I'm going to charge, multiplying it, and this is the relevant market for me. So this will give you an idea. If it is not 60 billion, it is just say 600 million again, then you get an indication that this market is small probably, right? That's how a basic level of mathematics calculation there comes into play, that will tell you whether the market is big or not. But nowadays we know that when we talk of a food tech industry, when we talk of a health tech industry, education, ed tech industry, I think they are again sort of validated, where we know, a lot of people are already there, potential buyers are already there, right? So another thing is like conducting the user research. This is really helpful. I'll tell you with my experience also, because we did it a very exhaustive one. So obviously you know it that your idea is there. You got a validation. Okay, there is a market also. You got a validation. Okay, 10 people are saying it's a good idea. Experts are giving you good insight. All is fine. But at the end, who gonna buy your offerings? It's the user, the end user, right? Who gonna pay for it? Not your experts, not the market. If it is big also, if nobody's buying, doesn't make sense, right? So at the end, it is the user who would be buying your services, and reaching out to the user before you really spend everything on your startup will make a lot of sense. Honestly, you go to the user, ask them whether this idea really solves your problem, whether you would be really buying it. Honestly, tell me whether you will be buying it when it is introduced in the market, this kind of a product or a service. Do you really need something else apart from it, some add-on feature or something like that? How much would you be eager to pay, right? All those questions you have to sort of carry out a survey. In a very simple terminology, user research is just carrying out a survey, asking hundreds of user outside, and you will get a complete indication that this is my initial set of customers. They are validating कि, okay, they are ready to buy, and then I think I get a real assurance कि, if I come out with this kind of a product or a service, it will be workable, hopefully, right? Because I did a survey. Obviously you can't survey billions of people, but it has to be a sample again, like what we do in research, right? So again, I'll just take one the example of MobiQuick. You know when they really launched the online recharge services, but down the line they sort of pivoted also, because now we all know they are mobile wallets, right? So earlier they started as a mobile recharge company, but now they are mobile wallet, and they got to this decision, they pivoted just because they got a validation from the user itself, because they did a survey and they found out that the user is not just keeping money for recharging purpose. They want to use that money in the wallet for paying, restaurant expenses, cab expenses, and all those things like what we do these days, right? So that's how, it might give you in the very initial stage also. The user study can give you a good validation in between your product journey as well, right? So moving on to the sixth sort of strategy. So if you see, from 1 to 6, the strategies are becoming more rigorous, right? And they are tend to give more better outcomes, right? Earlier ones were like sort of basic ones. Now we are talking about building something, right? So if most of the people might not be even aware of MVP, it's basically minimum viable product. So by minimum viable product, I mean to say, suppose I want to create a particular website, with the 10 features. Let me just start off, make a website with 2 features, because probably those 2 features will help in rendering the exact service that you are thinking of, right? So just to give a very layman example, so Maruti car 800 is a MVP when you talk of, because Maruti is also sort of helping you from commuting from point A to point B. So the purpose is solved. But when you talk of Mercedes, right, it is again giving 10 extra features, but it is obviously helping you to move from A and B also, A to B only, right? So that's how it's a very basic, but I mean, it's not a perfect example here, I would say, but yeah, a very basic example wherein you can understand what MVP is. It's a minimum viable product with which you can render your services out, right? So here, this validation strategy is talking about not even building a MVP, but to build a very mini MVP. So sort of a, kind of a landing page, right? So landing page is like just a page of a whole website, right? So don't create everything, just create a landing page and just test whether people are really clicking on it, buying on it, and all those things, right? Just have a basic website in place and you will get a validation, rather than spending thousands of, lakhs of rupees behind that. It's better to get a validation before you really go out and spend millions, right? So there's one venture called I Say Organic. So I think again this one, most of the people might not be aware of. So they are into online selling of organic fruits and vegetables, very simply, and other organic products also. They started with only fruits and vegetable. Again, selling of organic fruits and vegetable was a new idea, new sort of concept in the very beginning. So obviously they were very apprehensive in the beginning, and they wanted to sort of validate. Give me a second, guys. Yeah. So obviously, that was a pretty new concept, and they wanted to validate. So what they did was they followed this kind of a strategy. They just built a very basic website, and they put 2-3 people of telemarketers, and they started calling the potential customers and they were taking the sort of interest, whether they are really interested in buying organic vegetables, fruits online or not. So that's how they started. And now, nowadays, like, things have changed. Everybody's health conscious, and these organic market is a big market nowadays, right? So that's how, this strategy can be implemented for any new innovative concepts. And last is basically taking pre-orders, right? So by pre-order means, actually telling your customers to pay for what you are coming up with. I mean, you may not have even a product or a service ready, but you can. I mean, this really doesn't work much because in India it's very difficult to implement. But I'll take a example, not of India here. It's an outside example, because this strategy is really difficult to implement in India, because Indian is a price conscious market and people really don't pay till the time they really see something, right? But yeah, this is a strategy which is very workable, very rigorous, because it's in the seventh number, and very important for any companies who's working outside actually. So prospective customers show willingness to buy. So in point number 5, we talked about serving your user, right? But the user might say, okay, I will definitely buy when it is there in the market, but the intent to buy is not really buying, right? They may buy or they may not buy. Till the time you really ask to shell out money, you never will be sure, right? So that's how, there can be a possibility that people might show willingness ki, ha, I will buy, I will buy. But at the end, when you come out with the offering, they might not buy also, right? So that's how this strategy is sort of quite workable in that sense. So for taking an online example only, so if you're creating a landing page, you can put your product information, and you can, or service information, and you can say that, this product is coming out on, 5th of April in 2021. Start pre-booking and all those things. Pre-booking everyone is aware of, right? And you will get an idea, like in 1 month, if you find good number of people, ordering and booking it, it means this idea is workable, right? So you get that kind of an indication where you are actually asking them to pay, right, for something coming out in the future, right? Obviously the time gap have to be managed for sure. Right. So the example here is I'm taking of a non-Indian company. Till the time I was talking about the Indian startups, but this is a hardly startups do that in India. This seventh pre-order strategy, but yeah, Dropbox did that actually. So Dropbox, if everyone is aware, I hope everyone would be aware, but still for the benefit of the larger audience, let me just tell you what Dropbox is. It's a simple cloud storage space provider. Right. If you want to store something on the cloud, they provide a storage space, right? 10 GB, 50 GB, 1000 GB, whatever, depends upon from a basic client to a B2B client, right? So they really did this kind of a strategy, and they put up a landing page and they asked people to sign up, right? And even they did the signing up rather than just asking them to pay, because paying is really difficult. So even signing up is a better strategy, right? So thousands of customers actually signed up before even this kind of a service came into picture. And there they got a validation. Okay, fine. I mean, there I think people are there who would be buying, paying for the cloud storage space. And that's how Dropbox is now again a big name when you talk of cloud storage service providers. Okay, so let me just talk about these all validation strategy from our perspective also. But I think before that, I'll take a small moment wherein I talk about GrabGuidance also, because till the time I tell you what GrabGuidance is all about, I think you won't understand how we really validated the idea behind GrabGuidance. So what I'll do is, my screen is already shared, so I'll just showcase the website in actual. So I have here logged on as a user, right? So GrabGuidance is nothing. It's basically uh, you know uh, a platform wherein we are connecting two people, a learner and an expert, right? We are connecting these two people for two major purposes. One, for giving a academic, or two, the career guidance. So why I have chosen this case study, because this is what we created. And Legit Quest being a little technical and a niche category product, people would not understand, but this is a complete ed tech company. So here, if you are an MBA guy, you can always meet anyone who can from the industry also, guiding you where to do a job, where to do the internship, how you can move from marketing executive to the marketing director, right? So all those things. So here we are connecting to people. So I'll just take an example. Suppose you are a BBA student, right? So you just click select BBA, and suppose you want some academic guidance on, say, financial management, right? So you will find financial management and you'll just search. So this is a platform where we have listed many educators, right? Many educators, experts who can guide you on academic as well as career related guidance. So you go there, you find any suitable person. Suppose this is my only profile, so I'll show my profile itself. So you go there, you see how this person is, what all where, what availability he has, what expertise he has, what is a basic snapshot of his experience and a qualification in detail. If you want to see his experience, you'll find his experience and education, and what all expertise he or she has, and some reviews of it. And on the right, you can see there is, like, we've been talking about on demand cab services, right? So this is kind of a on demand educational services, very honestly, if I put it that ways also. So if I want to just get connected with this resource called Himanshu, I'll select a 20-minute session, right? I will, basis his availability, I'll get a slots. It's kind of a practo. If you see, if people are aware of the practo, you find doctors online, so, and have a video consultation. So simply, this is a practice of education industry wherein you will find educators, experts, career coaches, guides online, and you can just get connected straight away, right? Nothing to do, right? You just can select a tomorrow 7 a.m session, and that's about it. I'll just put my agenda. I want to discuss, say, one concept four questions or one chapter, or a particular job opportunity, or sort of interview preparation help, guidance, anything. Or if in case something you don't want to even type, you can just click a photograph and just upload it here, and that's about it. So it's kind of a on demand education services. So that's how this Grab Guidance is providing the educational and career services online, and everything gonna happen online. So like you just saw, even you can search online, anyone you can search online, right? You can book online like I just showed you, and even the consumption happens online. So we have built a complete end-to-end solution wherein you will just have to click on join the class, expert will click on join the class, and both the people will have a one-to-one session virtually online, like what we are having right now. So we have built our own solution. We it's not Zoom or Google Meet or Microsoft Team to rely on. So that's how we started off. So this is somewhere we have launched, and we are moving ahead. So right now we have 100 plus experts already, right? It's a very young age startup, but still we have got 100 plus good resources here to guide people from school students as well as college management and commerce students. So that's how the Grab Guidance is. I think I just try to summarize in a very brief manner. Now let me just talk about how we really sort of really validated, right? So I'll just talk about these 7 points from our perspective. So see, when we were actually starting off, so obviously when I say looking for the potential competitors, obviously we also did that, right? So we saw that I being myself, being the founding member of upgrad.com, which is one of the biggest online education company today. So I was pretty aware of the edtech ecosystem since 2015 only. Although after corona, everyone nowadays, even your faculty members, everyone is used to online education, and you guys are really doing it. Today also we are having an online session, right? So but in 2015 the things were pretty different. We were the pioneers who created the courses and all those things. So when we started off for the Grab Guidance in 2020, so obviously I was aware that in 2015 things got started with the online courses, right? So everybody was making online courses, those Simply Learns, Udemy, all those things, and Upgrade also. So we were creating online courses for a very high ticket value, 2 lakh of data analytics course, 5 lakh of data business analytic course, and digital marketing courses. So they are very costly products. But yeah, definitely I'm not saying they are bad, but yeah, it's a high ticket value price product, and everybody can't afford it also. So but one thing that was really missing, and today is also missing, is the the life feel of a person really teaching you. Nobody can replace a professor teaching you in the class, right? That's why we were always of the belief that we will put a live person in front of you. Even when we thought of Grab Guidance, we wanted to have a live person being, although leveraging technology in a virtual way, but has to be a live person. So that's how thought of try to be distinguished from other competitors like who were creating online courses. Further to it, you must have heard about Vedantu also. They came up with live concept like I was talking about. So but they never give a sort of empowerment to the students to choose their own teacher. Why? I mean, obviously you have access to your great teachers in your faculty, the who's teaching you in your campuses. But again, you can have thousands of people out in the outside world. You can get connected with so many people you never knew about them, right? But there we are giving that kind of an empowerment. You just saw that you just click and you will find hundreds of profile of different people, and basis your own decision, basis your own their ratings, their pricing, their capabilities. We're going to put their demo videos also, everything. After evaluating, you are the real person who can, the student is the real person who can at the end finally choose that I want to get connected with Himanshu only, right? So that's how we did that. And then the industry emerged, and couple of aggregators also came who were connecting students and students and faculties. But they failed to actually provide the end-to-end solution. So there they had to rely on Zoom and all those things, but we have a complete inbuilt solution. So that's how we did that, something which is there but in a very innovative way, right? So I'll just talk about the initial set of customers. So obviously we thought very in depthly, like, what is this product solving for, to whom, right? Obviously TG, when we talk of, there is, people doing BBA, MBA, there are people doing MCOM, there are people doing BA, MA, and even a, first class standard student, right? So, but yeah, we have to think of a person like, I'll take an example which is very relatable to you guys. So, when we do MBA, right? So obviously, we have access to great resources in our campus, but still, what happens is, you never do tuitions, right? Tuitions is a concept which is like, very primitive concept that happens for a school level students, right? But still, there can be some, connect that you can have, you may be wanting to get connected with the industry guy, say, who can guide you, like, where, which sector you should be entering into. He can get you an idea. He's suppose a marketing director, he can give you an idea like how you can move up the ladder and be a, a senior guy in the marketing field, right? There can be some queries in your mind that you want to get solved in a very on demand basis on academic level also. So that's how, these were the, use cases with which we decided that this kind of a persona will be important for our kind of a win, right? So that's where we got the validation that this is a guy who's looking for something like this, and that's how we moved it. And talking about discussing your idea, very honestly, I personally have talked to, you will not believe, 50 plus people before even thinking of this idea, very honestly, implementing it, very honestly. By so, because, I have a network with a lot of good edtech people, investors, and some good education people. So I talked personally for hours and hours, and got a real insight. And even the idea which I started off with, it was completely different. So I got a real insight, different perspective, and I actually changed a couple of things, and finally, we were able to create this. So I'm personally telling you, discussing your idea really helps rather than keeping it to yourself, honestly. So that's how we also moved it. And like everyone does it, like we also did the market sizing. And although we were not required to, education is very big market, but still, market sizing is pretty important. From 18th age group to 25 age group, which is the student category that we are targeting, right? Just a college category, there are 450 million people, right? If in case out of that, one fourth also, like 100 million people is still there, who's like a, good fit for this kind of an offering. And if we are able to just have a 5 transactions of 1,000 rupees each, again it comes out to be a very big figure that way. So I'm not getting into that mathematical thing, but yeah, you understand that how we market, like with the time savers example we took. And uh, conducting user research, we were very, obviously, aligned with this kind of a strategy, and we really thought to move ahead with this, and we created a complete, a survey as well on a Google form. You can use Survey Monkey, like in your research you must be doing just basic, and a free product can always be used, not to spend money on that. Reaching out, sharing that survey with, we did that with parents and students, and we really got an idea that people are really wanting to have, a session big book for even 20 minutes. Nobody is able to provide that, but people are wanting, if they have just one small concept to be discussed, one small query to be discussed, why not why not they can have a 20-minute session with an expert. So that's where we got the validation. Users, we got a positive validation that the user are inclined to these kind of an offering. We got the idea on the pricing, we got so many things from the user, like I talked about. And we also did a very rigorous exercise there. And talking about mini MVP, definitely the product that I just showed you just now is kind of an MVP for us. Although we created a much, much, much better MVP, because if you see, just Google search Facebook and LinkedIn MVP, you will find their portal to be pathetic in the very beginning. But although we managed to come out with a very impressive, UI UX design and everything. But yeah, but we created, this is still an MVP for us, because in the beginning, we are restricting it to just 2 3 features, like I say. We have so many things to do in, product perspective, and we're gonna do that. So that's why, it's a kind of an MVP for us. And we'll be moving to the better version of it for soon. And like I said, this is somewhere, we got a, a positive validation in the first 6 points. That's why, seventh was somewhere, obviously not so workable, although we did not go ahead with that. But yeah, Now we have recently got the orders, also we got the paid sessions being booked and everything, so that validation has also happened soon. So that's about it. So that was the case. So I'll just, this is the last slide, so just couple of more pointers just to conclude what I just spoke for last 30-40 minutes. So very honestly, I think people will agree to me that it's important to have a calculated and a wise decision, because when we talk of entrepreneurial journey, it is full of risk. Even after 4 or 5 years, every day is a risky day, right? In India, I'll share a figure with you. In India, for a business to be built, it takes minimum of 10 years. That's how the research says. And honestly, till 10 years, you are always facing every now and then different kind of arrest. So every time you have to be calculative and take a wise decision. So this is the initial set of things that you need to do before even starting off, right? So people are inclined to leave their jobs and drop out and all those things that we see a lot of times. But it's important to get a validation and some sort of positive outcome in these strategies, so that you really take that kind of a difficult decision, right? And like always, we say that it's worth spending a penny, because it might cost you to create a landing page or so, but it is worth spending a penny rather than saving a dollar, right? That's where we have to be very cautious about. And at the end, just last disclaimer from my side, if you say so, this type of validation may not lead to 100% success. Very honestly, if you are getting a positive response on all those seven, still the market is so dynamic, you never know what's going to happen. So nothing is guaranteed, but still you get a idea as to whether the chances of success are better or not. That's how it happens with the validation. So if in case, guys, you have any entrepreneurial idea, you can very well implement this. It's kind of a practical session for you guys. Very honestly, I took I was restricted to taking only the practical examples, because I wanted to have a very insightful view of all those strategies. I just didn't wanted to make a kind of strategy which is implemented on the books, but this is somewhere it happens in life and it happens outside world in the startup ecosystem also. And I hope these strategies, if in case you have an idea, you would be happy to do that. And that's about it. So thank you so much.